Hello, everybody. This is Alex Wolf, the publisher of Long Island Portfolio and the director of photography for Concierge Photography in Jericho, New York. And I'm here with endurance athlete Andrew Gillman, who is looking to use many of his skills to raise funds for charities across the country. And we're really going to be talking about raising money on Long Island. Good morning, Andrew. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning, Alex. I'm well. Thank you for having me.
Thanks. Hey, listen, I don't think everybody knows what an endurance athlete is. Can you give us a couple of examples of where endurance athleticism fits in?
Absolutely. So I have been an endurance athlete my entire life for the most part. It's the first thing I was talented at. As of the last few years, I climbed ice for 24 hours, pretty much vertical. I skied uphill for 24 hours with basically magic carpet on the bottom of my skis. And, I was formerly an elite level triathlete racing at the international level, but from half Ironman distance and less. So it's pretty much just don't stop and go real fast.
Very, very cool. So was there any special place where you had done one of your triathlons?
I think my favorite place, and maybe some people wouldn't call it special, but for me it always was racing in Chicago on Michigan Avenue, and just flying down this road. And it's pancake flat, but there's winds and the roads are very difficult because of the potholes, and the crowds are incredible and the food is incredible. So
See,
that was always.
And I would bet that would surprise a lot of people. Usually you hear about Ironman triathletes in Hawaii, Baja California. So Chicago is actually kind of a surprise.
Yeah, I also loved racing internationally. In Europe, it was a lot of fun. Like Lanzarote was absolutely the most beautiful course I was on, an austere volcanic island. And every home there is white, and it bounces off the volcanic rock. It's
hard
absolutely stunning.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, it's really hard on the eyes. You don't know how you're just going to leave. The food's great, the wine's great, and the people there are phenomenal, and it's really a treat to go to Lanzarote.
Cool. Well, let's wind back a long way. You weren't born an endurance athlete, but you had some challenges that the endurance athleticism was able to take advantage of. Can you tell
Absolutely.
us about that?
So, being an endurance athlete takes everything. To do this at the professional level is, a constant battle. You have to train, you have to organize your time, to work with these nonprofits and put these events together. I get to deal with ADD and being disorganized and fighting basically my natural desire to not be organized, or organize in my own way and make sense of it on a daily basis. Just being open about it has been very empowering to have that tool. Oh, I was probably diagnosed in 5 years old. Easily.
And the athleticism has helped you gain focus and beat the ADD from.
Oh yeah,
challenge.
You have, if you want to be successful, you are forced to dial yourself in.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not going to pay attention, you're not going to get anywhere in your career, and you're not going to be able to put the event together, and you're not going to be able to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars potentially for children who desperately need it. And that's really what my drive is.
Cool. So let's fast forward a tiny little bit. For a while, you were working in an oncology department.
I was working in pediatric oncology hematology in Buffalo, New York. And that was really an eye-opener to how vital what I'm doing really is, and how much these kids go through. And in their own way, they're definitely an endurance athlete, because you need endurance and the will to will to survive and the drive to move forwards every day when you're going through what they do. Because no day is really easy.
Mhm.
It's always a race for them. It's always, the summit push on a lot of these kids every day.
So that's a major motivation for you for doing not only the athletics, but tying in philanthropy and raising money for charities.
Absolutely, that is the drive.
Mm-hmm. Always having that in the back of your mind. It's a very strong drive.
The motivation is endless when it comes to something like that. To knowing where it all goes, for the most part, and these kids deserve everything they can get.
Very cool. And it's really good that you're looking to give it to them. So let's jump ahead. I'm coming out to Lake Tahoe. You hired me to come and create some digital assets for you while you're doing training and preparing for rowing on Lake Tahoe.
Yeah.
Can you, tell us about that project?
So I'm going to be rowing on Tahoe for 24 hours. I'm going to be the only engine on the boat, and we're going to be using a single coastal rowboat. So it's a boat that kind of looks like a combination of a kayak and a scull had a child.
Mm-hmm.
And then you throw your Concept 2 rowing machine on there, and you have your sliding seat and 2 oars, and you could surf the boat. You can go over choppy water. You can go over flat water. It's an incredibly fun way to move on the water, and it's safe and stable. And it's even an Olympic sport this year. But they're not rowing for 24 hours.
No, I imagine they're not. So who's sponsoring this? You have sponsors who help pay for.
I do have sponsors. Yeah, they're incredible. I have my oar sponsor from Croker Oars, and I have an energy product sponsor, and then I have some local sponsors in Lake Tahoe, and I have a rowing club, a outrigger canoe group, and they might be helping me out. And then I have my massage therapist, and it's just a phenomenal team.
That sounds like a great team. So you're doing that in early September.
Yeah, I'll be doing this on the 14th, and we're going to start at very in the line of duty. And they're based at a Craig Hospital, and they're a phenomenal organization.
Cool. So after you do your 24 hours in Lake Tahoe, you're having your boat shipped to Long Island, and you're coming to Long Island in a project that I call Row Andrew Row, and you're going to circumnavigate Long Island in a rowboat solo, all on your lonesome.
Yes. Well, maybe not so much on my lonesome, but a small group of very kind people will follow me from point to point or trade off as I row from each route point, and continue to raise money for different nonprofits, all based on Long Island, which is also where I grew up.
So we were discussing some of those that we've approached, although not everybody has signed on just yet, but we're talking to Michael Magro Foundation, Marty Lyons Foundation, Ronald McDonald House, Leukemia Lymphoma Society.
Leukemia Society.
Right. So we're hoping that they come on board so that we can raise money for them and take to do the row.
So it's going to take about 8 days. I'm going to cover 249 miles plus corrective distance, and in and out of each harbor. So I'm thinking about 300 miles.
About 300 miles over 8 days. That's quite a feat. So Long Island's got
faster.
I'm sorry?
Hopefully faster.
Hopefully faster. Long Island has got some dangerous water, so it's not a safe place to be on the water for 8 days. So what do you envision in terms of support for making that happen?
So to start off, training on Lake Tahoe is going to be phenomenal because it's not a glass-like body of water. There's chop, there's wind. It's its own ecosystem. So that's going to help get me ready. I have a phenomenal coach who's one of the best in the world, Ben Booth, and my gear is top rate. So on that side of things, I'm well ready. Physically, having community members and boats and yachts join me will ensure navigational ease, route finding, and passage through more difficult waterways based on experienced mariners being the ones who I follow as opposed to direct will make sure that this goes smoothly.
Cool.
So
So,
I really can't do it without them.
so reaching out to groups like the Power Squadron will help
Absolutely.
find the local boaters and marinas for support. I think also we talked about reaching out to the local chambers of commerce, because every time you pull in for overnight, that's an opportunity to highlight a town and a marina and what kind of support that they provide the community.
And there's just phenomenal food in these towns as well. Being someone who grew up in Port Washington, I know that when I stop in Port Washington, I might just have to go to Louis to get something to eat
Or have it delivered.
or have it delivered out on the water. Somebody can deliver it between play the handoff game.
Yeah, so that's really awesome. So it's great. Thank you very much for spending some time with me today. It's great to know that you're going to be taking your endurance training and skills and help raise money for charities on Long Island. And, of course, as being the Long Island portfolio, we really appreciate that. And let's just tell everybody up front that what part of what we're going to do is create some rowing and effort-related artwork, sports images that are going to be available for sale once everything is done.
And they're going to be absolutely incredible.
That they will. So Andrew, thank you so very much.
Thank you for having me.
Look forward to seeing you in Lake Tahoe on the 17th.
And if you're there, come out and say hi. Anybody's a fan.
Cool. Thanks again.
Thank you.